News and Events COVID-19 on June 20. Note, this is a collaborative video made between Travel for All Fanpage and Knowledge of Coronavirus channel. Please respectfully welcome everyone. The following is the remarkable news most on June 20 as follows. 1. American News. Geoffrey Berman, the U.S. Attorney for the Southern District of New York, said in a statement Saturday that he would leave his post after Attorney General William Barr sent him a letter. President Trump is holding a campaign rally in Tulsa this evening, his first since coronavirus shut down the country and halted all in-person campaigning. The rally comes as Oklahoma is seeing a steady increase of new, confirmed coronavirus cases per day. New cases in Tulsa County have also been climbing at a record level. 6 Trump campaign staffers in Tulsa tested positive for coronavirus ahead of tonight's rally. News from CNN. The United States is still the country with the most infections and deaths in the world. Many U.S. states have recorded a record high number of new cases, raising concerns about an outbreak. Second. On June 19, the 3 U.S. states of Arizona, Texas and Florida all recorded a record high number of new COVID-19 cases, breaking record levels set in previous days. Arizona recorded 3,246 new cases of COVID-19 in the morning, higher than a record 2,519 cases on June 18. Meanwhile, the number of new cases in Texas is 3,516 people on the evening of June 18. Florida also recorded 3,822 new cases were recorded on June 19. 2. Update the situation of COVID-19 in the world. Globally, 8,749,211 people have been infected with COVID-19 acute respiratory infections caused by COVID-19, of which 461,803 have died and 4,619,651 have recovered. 3. Chinese News. The people of Beijing have a lot to worry about, from the fear of being infected by a virus at a crowded test site, to the embarrassment of life being further upset by the new epidemic imposition orders. China launched a nationwide campaign to examine imported food after an outbreak of COVID-19 acute respiratory infection broke out in a wholesale market in Beijing that experts said there were points homologous to the strain in Europe. Beijing on June 19 recommends that citizens abandon frozen seafood and bean products purchased from the Tanfatia market. Officials in Beijing have been testing hundreds of thousands of people while nearby areas have been frozen and schools closed to avoid a second COVID-19 outbreak. On June 19, 25 more cases were recorded in Beijing, bringing the total number of cases from last week to 183. 4. Brazilian News. The number of new infections in Brazil continues to increase, and the total number of new positive cases of coronavirus SARS-CoV-2 in this South American country has surpassed 1 million, despite the number of cases. Price of experts. The current time is not yet the peak of the epidemic. Updated data on June 19 by a group of Brazil's largest newspapers. The South American country has recorded 1,009,699 cases of COVID-19, including 48,427 deaths, continues to be national. Ranked second in the world in terms of both infections and deaths after the United States. 5. Mexican News. Statistics show that Mexico currently ranks third in the world in terms of deaths per case, with 11.96%, behind Italy, 14.5%, and the UK, 14%. The Mexican Ministry of Health on June 19 reported that the number of COVID-19 deaths had increased to 20,394, an increase of 647. Meanwhile, the total number of cases was 170,485 and 62,245 suspected cases. The number of infections and deaths continues to rise sharply, but the Mexican government does not implement any additional measures to prevent and control the epidemic, but only advises people to implement medical measures. Translation Room. Statistics show that during the past 10 days, Mexico recorded an average of more than 4,000 new infections a day and more than 500 deaths a day. 6. French News. In the past 24 hours, France recorded 14 new deaths, the lowest in a day since March 10. As of June 19, France had a total of 159,452 cases, up 811 from the previous day and the highest increase in the week, while the number of deaths was 29,617. 7. German news. The number of new cases in Germany also started to increase again as on June 19, the country announced an additional 770 cases after an outbreak in the cattle slaughter plant of the Tönnies Group in North Rhine-Westphalia. As of June 19, Germany has a total of 188,534 cases, including 8,872 deaths. 8. Egyptian news. Egypt on June 19 recorded an additional 1,774 cases, the highest increase of the day, bringing the total number of cases to 52,211 cases. In addition, there were 79 new deaths, bringing the total number of deaths to 2,017. 9. News Morocco. Morocco on June 19 recorded the number of new COVID-19 cases per day at a record high since the first case was detected in March 2020. Accordingly, the country's authorities have detected more than 450 people positive for COVID-19 in the western region of Rabat Kenitra. The source of the spread of the disease was determined to be from a strawberry packaging factory in the town of Kenitra. The sharp increase in the number of new cases occurred just before the Moroccan government continued to relax measures to prevent the spread of COVID-19, expected to take effect from June 20 to restore economic activity. A screening and screening campaign to detect infected people in private companies was launched shortly after the government allowed businesses to reopen. Earlier, the government of Morocco announced on June 9 that it would lift its curfew schedule, but still required people in big cities to strictly abide by the epidemic regulations, as well as maintain a medical emergency until July 10. Morocco, with a population of over 36 million, still records an average of fewer than 100 new cases of COVID-19 each day. To date, the North African country has detected a total of nearly 10,000 people infected with COVID-19, including 213 deaths. 10. News of Israel. On June 19, Israel recorded 303 more cases, the highest increase on the day since April 23. The current number of infections in the country has reached 20,339 cases, while the number of deaths increased by 1 to 304. Shift. 11. South and North Korea relations news. Why is Kim Yo-jong so angry with Korea? North Korea's latest storm on June 17 when it decided to blow up a liaison office building, an iconic image located near the border with South Korea, opened in 2018. On the other hand, the North Korean military has said it will send troops to demilitarized areas along the border. In response to this unexpected tension, on June 19 the South Korean President's office said it had approved the resignation letter of the unified minister Kim Ye-chul. Minister Kim accepted all responsibilities related to inter-Korean relations. Unexpectedly, North Korean state media stirred up the situation in the First Peninsula when they published a post accusing South Korea of violating agreements signed in 2018 and behaving like a mongrel dog, while Kim Jong-un's girls would call the South Korean president an American helper. Ankit Panda, senior editor of The Diplomat, has just released a book on North Korea, Kim Jong-un and the Bomb, Survival and Deterrence in North Korea, 2020. Answering BBC News Vietnamese, Mr. Ankit Panda noted that the North Korean media revealed two things that made them angry. The first is many frustrating months for North Korea because of the progress and the level of inter-Korean economic cooperation. It cannot progress as Pyongyang desired due to international sanctions. In spite of, Seoul has tried its best to help without violating sanctions. Second, North Korean media said they considered it unacceptable for Korean civil groups to send leaflets. Mr. Ankit Panda also questioned whether the recent events were to increase the image of Mrs. Kim Yo-jong, the younger sister of leader Kim Jong-un. There are other possibilities that we do not fully understand, such as raising the status of Kim Yo-jong in the political system. While South Korea has said it remains open to dialogue, condemning North Korea's actions is meaningless and damaging. tensions have skyrocketed in recent weeks, partly from the fact that North Korean defection groups in South Korea have sent propaganda leaflets across the border. Recent North Korean moves appear to have taken direct orders from Kim Yo-jong. Kim Jong-un, on May 1, appeared at a ceremony after disappearing from events for 20 days. But from then on, he was absent from state media. Really where the leader is, how healthy, is still a mystery. Meanwhile, North Korean state-run media continued to criticize South Korea. Seoul warns that any military action of the North will be closely monitored and any military provocation will be responded with a strong reaction. Our newsletter is now over. Thank you for always watching and supporting our videos. Knowledge of coronavirus, channel and travel for all fanpage respectfully, and see you in the next video. 8. Mexican news. The Mexican Foreign Ministry announced that the United States agreed to extend the order to restrict unnecessary travel across the common border for an additional 30 days to prevent the spread of the COVID-19 pandemic. The Ministry of Foreign Affairs said travel restrictions were imposed by both countries in mid-March and extended in May. However, due to the complicated situation, the government of both sides decided to extend to non-essential circulation across the common border. The Mexican Foreign Ministry said that up to now, 1,038 citizens have died from COVID-19 in the U.S. Besides, Mexico has recorded 150,264 cases, including 17,580 deaths from COVID-19 in the country. 9. Korean news. With 34 newly discovered cases, the total number of cases in Korea has increased to 12,155. Thus, South Korea, for 3 consecutive days, recorded new cases of less than 40 cases. Of the newly recorded 21 cases of infection in the community, South Korea also recorded 1 more death, bringing the total number of deaths in the country to 278, while an additional 30 patients fully recovered, bringing the total number of cured cases to 10,760, accounting for 88.5%. 10. Iran news. In the Middle East, the Iranian government recorded an increase of 9,065 deaths after confirming more than 100 deaths a day for 3 consecutive days. Over the past 24 hours, an additional 2,563 cases have tested positive for COVID-19, bringing the total number of infections in Iran to 192,439 cases since the first cases were detected on February 19. 11. ASEAN bloc news. In the past 24 hours, the ASEAN bloc, Indonesia, the Philippines and Brunei, recorded deaths from the new strain of coronavirus, SARS-CoV-2, that causes acute respiratory infections, COVID-19. During the day, only 4 countries reported new cases, including Singapore, the Philippines, and the Philippines. COVID-19 has claimed the lives of a total of 3,548 people in the area, an increase of 39 cases compared to the previous day, while the number of cases increased to 120,698. In addition, the ASEAN region has also witnessed the number of patients successfully treated as 64,950 cases. Singapore remains the ASEAN country with the highest number of cases, but Indonesia is about to surpass the Lion Island in the total number of cases. Overall, the COVID-19 epidemic continues to be complicated in Indonesia and the Philippines. On June 16, Brunei recorded 1 death due to COVID-19, and this is the first death in the country after months, thereby bringing the total number of deaths from COVID-19 in Brunei to 3 cases. In contrast, 7 other countries in the region are well under control of the disease and socio-economic life has begun to return. Many ASEAN countries are speeding up the process of reopening and restoring socio-economic activities. 12. The Kingdom news. The World Health Organization, WHO, on June 16, praised the UK's use of a basic steroid to treat COVID-19 patients in serious condition as a scientific breakthrough of nature. Save lives, because this therapy has saved a third of this patient population.
WHO Director General Tedros Adhanom Ghebreyesus emphasized, "This is great news and we congratulate the Government of England, the University of Oxford, and many hospitals and patients in the UK who have contributed to the scientific breakthrough. Save this life." Our newsletter is now over. Thank you for always watching and supporting our videos. Knowledge of coronavirus, channel and travel for all fantas respectfully, and see you in the next video.